All right. Now we just have to jack this thing up, get tires off, and then start cutting it apart. It's gonna be a long day. So let's get to it. We're gonna need this and this. These tires are filthy. Got that fresh, wet dirt sticking to them. This one's probably not going to come off as easy, unfortunately. Oh, tight space. So, I don't think I can change this. Can I? No, I just took a picture. So ultimately what we're going to do is, let me tilt you up a little bit. You go in here, right here. See how this is bent? So when the truck lays all the way down, the suspension goes up. The tie rods are bottoming out right here in this little shiny section. So we're actually going to go in there with a cutoff wheel and just cut it out. And then what I'll do is I'll take a piece of, I don't know, probably a piece of roll cage tubing, half moon it, cut it in half, and then weld it in there for the tie rod to float through. That's the plan anyway. So from my research, on this side you don't actually have to notch it a whole bunch. the passenger side, you have to take big chunk out. And I think that has to do with this tie rod being shorter and that one being longer, because the rack is offset to this side, because obviously the steering column is on this side. So at least that's my understanding. So we're going to do that. It is on jack stands, by the way. So it's not our typical sketchy stuff, but so we may actually even notch it right. Somebody's already cut this to put the bag mounts in, which they did an okay job. The bag cups are not welded in or bolted in, which isn't a huge deal. I've seen a lot of trucks like that. I just don't know why you would. Why? Like, fucking why? Anyway, so somebody's already cut this section out to make room for this bag, which I think these are 2600s, which is about right for the front. Maybe a little what people consider big for the front. So we're going to cut the rest of that and hope it works. But first, we have to get this tie rod off and out of the rack, which supposedly is not that hard. We're going to have to take this nut off, which does actually have a cotter pin that is improperly placed, so that's fun. We'll hammer this bad boy out. We're probably going to put new tie rods in too. We have a car show to be at, so if I can order them and get them in before that, I might. Because these are bent, and of course that's going to lead to steering geometry issues. Probably some bump steer and stuff like that, with the tires being not exactly where they should be. So we're going to try and get these out, which these look factory, so that's going to be a pain. If they were not factory, they'd probably be a lot easier to get out because they've been changed recently. But since these haven't, we're going to have to probably get in there with some heat and some four-letter words and make her come on out. So we're going to start with getting these nuts off. And we're going to start with the driver's side. Ugh. Alright, let's get some tools. So, getting a ratchet. What size do y'all think that is? Look at this cotter pin. Hang on. For future reference, that's not how you install a cotter pin, okay? This needs to be bottomed out, and those need to be twisted around. This is, whoever did this is a dick. So, please install your cotter pins properly for safety. Ooh, need some actual pliers for that apparently. Now look. What you do is you go in there and you just get your Kleins, right? And yeah. Boop. Pop her on out of there. See, only that much of it was actually in in the thread. So we're going to put that back in, so we're going to save that. But we're going to put it in properly. That's big. This is that's an 18. That's a big boy there. Let's try to find something else. Maybe. Nope, that's big one. Alright. It's whatever that is. I don't know if we can get this in there. Hey, we can. Look at there. Boop. Castle nut off. Alright, so now we got to get this out without screwing it up too terribly bad. So go to your woodworking supplies and get your finest rusty claw hammer that has been chewed on by your dog. When that doesn't work, remember that you don't have a pickle fork. I'm not talking nonsense. There's actually a tool called a pickle fork, okay? These ball joints are straight shot and y'all didn't even tell me. Look at that. Top one looks fine. That one does not. I can already tell this is going to escalate into rebuilding the entire front end of this truck. Yep. She's up in there. So, I don't have anything. Let me think. Try not to beat on these and these because you'll actually bend these little castle tops. You'll just fold them under. So normally what I try and do is I actually put it on upside down to where the castles are up. That gives you a good flat surface to hit on. But don't run it all the way to where the threads are sticking out, because if you whack those threads, see how they're hanging out? If you whack those threads while it's hanging out, you won't be able to back that nut off and it'll end up stripping. So put it just where the threads are a little under the edge of the nut. See, it still spins free. So we're not hurting it. But I think some heat will help. There she is. A little bit of heat, and all it does is it helps that cast let go of that machined surface. These are two different metals. Sometimes you'll even hear it'll snap, it'll ping when it lets go. key is not to melt the ball joint and catch the grease on fire. And this is only what you do when you don't have the proper tool for this. Bam! Look at that. Popped it right off, right? Problem is now, that nut is probably about 300 degrees. She's ready to bake cookies on. So, I want to be careful with that, because that bad boy's still the temperature of the sun. Look at there. Boop. How about that? A little bit of heat. Okay, you don't have to fram on it too hard. Just a little bit of heat, and all it does is this steel here is obviously a different density than this cast metal. So what it does is they expand at different temperatures. When metal gets hot, it expands, correct? Okay, we all know that. So what you do is you expand the cast quicker because it's not as dense. It's not as hardened, so it expands a little quicker than this does and causes it to release it. So remember that. Most of y'all who are watching this probably already knew that, but for the people who don't, well, $20 propane torch will save you a lot of beating. Alright, so now we're going to take our boots off. Did that just spin? Oh wow. Look at that. This job just got a lot easier. It's also bad because it means that that's been loose this entire time. Just burn myself. For the record, that's the flip side to the heat situation. Grab some cutters. Had to get a glass of tea and some cutters. So we're gonna. Oh. Okay. So up top here, there's a clamp that is a non-serviceable clamp. So, that's how you avoid laying in the dirt. Let's see here. Okay. So that's odd. I don't know what's going on here. Made it a little better, huh? Oh, I see. Okay. We might cut this with a death wheel.
Are we there yet? She there yet?
She's there.
Cause I don't know if we can get any cutters in here the way this angle is.
Get 50% off Pixel AA when you buy select Pixel phone and Best Buy.
Chow. Your grandpa's fucking pliers for the win. Oh. Why does that look like transmission fluid? That's a little odd, isn't it? Oh, oh. No, red. It kind of looks like transmission fluid. Mind you, I have not worked on anything on this truck. I did an oil change on this truck and redid the air suspension, and that's it. Literally nothing else. Haven't even done a once over on it. Didn't even check the spark plugs. So whatever we find, it's gonna be new to us all. We don't want to get our tools covered here. Yeah. This part here is what we have to unscrew from this part. I'm not confident that we're going to be able to. Alright. Oh no! I fell over and spilled my glass of tea. Alrighty. Let me grab the pliers here. Alright, so the downside is these are the biggest pliers I have. Okay. yeah. We ain't gonna be able to get that off. So couple options here. We can try and borrow some tools from a fellow mini trucker right down the yonder. Or if he has the tool for this. Because that's going to be a pain. So, this video is probably going to be a couple different parts. I think. Maybe. Alright. We have possibly the right tool. Ooh. Okay. We might not have the right tool. Ooh.
Never be able to wake her up. And now
Huh. I don't know if they're reverse thread or not, but
same kids every day. You can tell
that bad boy don't want to come off.
she's trying to be she says it's awesome. But she doesn't see what I see. I feel like my hands are tied. I don't want to get her in trouble, but I want to help her.
How can
I
we...
don't know how to fix this.
You can break the cycle. Get help now at SmartMathFL.com.
Yeah. Yeah, we may have to buy a special tool for this. Because, that ain't wanting to... That ain't wanting to do it. It's alright. We put some heat to it. Yeah, that didn't want to come off there. That ain't good. Huh. Oh. Well,
When you live with moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, your day can be full of reminders of your condition. Never knowing, always wondering. You weren't made for UC or Crohn's, but gut-focused Entyvio is. Entyvio works at the site of the problem to block certain inflammation-causing cells.
trying to figure out what we're going to do here because
Infusion and serious allergic reactions can happen during or after treatment. Entyvio may
these
increase
$20
infection, which can be
pliers are
serious,
not wanting
although
to,
unlikely, a risk of
not wanting to turn that.
rare, serious, potentially fatal brain infection cannot be ruled
So
out. Tell
that's
your
the problem.
doctor if you have an infection, experience frequent
'Cause
infections, or have
this is normally how you do them.
sores. Liver problems can
And
occur
now
with
that it's
Entyvio.
not,
In clinical trials, Entyvio helped many people achieve long-term relief and remission. Ask your doctor about Entyvio. Entyvio.
not really sure here.
Did you know Cheez-It made extra toasty? I did. But did you know that's not a right? No. Drop it. That there. Extra toasty. Want it? Need it? Cheez-It.
Huh. Is my big head in the way? I'm hoping these aren't seized to the rack, because I don't want to replace the whole rack, even though it does need to be replaced. 100% needs to be replaced. We're going to take a short intermission while I figure out how to deal with this. Alright. So here's what we ended up with. Apparently, you can get this special tool. Slides right over this. Like that. Attaches to this. And you put your breaker bar on there. And twist it off, and it comes right off. So, you know, the right tool probably would have helped from the start. Luckily, the guys at my local parts store are pretty cool with me, and warrantied out those channel locks that I snapped, and were kind enough to let me borrow this. We've got the best parts store guys. They really are top notch, man. I couldn't hope for a better group, honestly. The guys they can always get me parts, and if they can't, they do their damnedest, and they always try and help me out with tools and anything that I need. Super nice guys. So shout out to Advanced Auto Parts in Perry, Florida. If you're ever passing through or local, go see those guys, man. They're super great. So now that we've got that off, we've got the tie rod off, right? So now we need to notch this. But I'm going to go ahead and get the other side off. I actually had to cut this because it's, I mean, you can see where it's been eaten away. And it wasn't much longer before that ball was going to get ripped out of there. The tension of this bending and going up is like pulling the ball out and just ruining that. And on top of it, let's see. That's the yeah. You can see where she bent. And this nut is just froze up. So we just went ahead and cut it because we're going to be putting new ones on here anyway. $30, you can put brand new inner and outers on here with the boots. So like, why wouldn't you do it, right? So don't be scared to cut stuff to get it out of your way if you know that you're going to be putting new, better stuff in. It's just a better way to do it, okay? It's a quicker way. You won't have to sit there and fight with it. Because at the end of the day, it's scrap metal. You know? This isn't safe, and it ain't going to be used anymore. It got us through some times, but she done now. So we're going to move to the other side. Probably put some heat on that one. Bump that inner out. We may actually try and break it loose first. No, we won't. We're going to cut that one too. Because these are supposed to have a jam nut on them. That's not a jam nut. So, no jam nut. So we're not going to loosen it. We're just going to cut that mug and bump it out. So, I'm going to go ahead and move y'all to the other side. Move all my tools. Death wheel. Breaker bar. Get our impact. Get our socket for the nut. Got Grandpa's pliers. We got our lighter for our torch. Got our torch. Start keeping it. And also, oh wow, hear that? That ball joint right there is worth slap out. So we're going to go ahead and replace that too. But let's go ahead and cut this. That way we can turn this, because right now the steering wheel is locked. So this is as far as this is going to go. So if we cut it, we can at least move it over. But we've got our jack stands there, but that doesn't make it any less sketchy, does it? Now let's cut that mug, because we're gonna have to cut right here. So I think I hear a little thunderstorm starting. That one about had it, ain't it? Alright, so the cotter pin was done right on this one. I don't know why. And also, I just want to let you guys know, these first couple videos back, are not going to be edited. like the previous ones. Just simply because I'm filming them on the same camera phone, obviously, which is just like a, I don't know, some kind of really nice phone. But my point is, or what I was saying rather, is that it takes a lot to film and edit. So I'm gonna film these, put them up raw, see if that inspires my motivation to get back out here. And if it does, we'll start putting more effort into editing like we used to. Because used to we'd have an intro, music, and you know, cuts, and this we're just gonna throw it out there raw, see what happens. Anyway, let's get back to it. We gotta figure. That's hot still. So on these, a lot of times, if you can't get to the ends because they're folded over in a crease or something like that, if you just grab that eyelet and tug on her a little bit, it'll actually pull them straight for you. Ow. Okay. Now, there. Uh-oh. Our air hose is way over yonder. Maybe we can do it manually. Look at that. Camera right off. And again, we're not going to reuse these castle nuts and stuff, but I do save them. That one didn't even require any heat. You see how I did that? I put that nut on upside down so I could use that side. Kind of like that. Now whack it here. That keeps it from bending these. Not a big deal in this case, but if you're going to reuse the ones you're trying to take off, it's a good way to do it right there. Because y'all saw me, I smacked it one time and then it spun it right back off. It didn't do any damage to it at all. But we're not really worried about reusing those. You hear that? That rack is blown clean out, boy. Let's see. Normally I would do these sides one at a time. But I want to get this tool back to parts guys, because I'm being honest, they don't charge me to borrow tools up there, because one, I spend a lot of money there, a lot, and two, it's kind of their way of giving back to me for what I went through, I guess, for the community. Which I have never asked them to do that. They're just so nice up there that they do that for me. Which I don't tell people who I am. And I obviously use a fake name 90% of the time, so people don't know who I am. Because I don't want any special attention or treatment. So, look at that camera. Grandpa's fucking clowns. That's part of my language. Alright, so she's gonna look like a stuck pig. Or a shot one, in my case. What's weird is, it really is the color of transmission fluid. It's really strange. Now, I'm gonna have to get up and turn the wheel anyway, apparently. Hang on my legs.